You must have often heard in the news that some fit person suddenly died.
If you want a healthy life and want to avoid these silent diseases,
does our body give any warning signs of metabolic ill health? Actually, yes.
Sugar and fat will start building up in the bloodstream.
Another dangerous thing is that people who consume alcohol do not ignore these signs.
Bappi Lahiri ji passed away. Symptoms appear quite late, and by then,
this is called inflammation. Visceral fat is more dangerous.
Globally, 1 out of every 3 adults has an unhealthy liver.
Diabetes is a liver disease. If people who have diabetes,
the key isn't working, so the doors of the cells will not be unlocked. Do you want to know the symptoms of a weak liver?
Then your weight will reduce by 1 kg in a week.
Gut bacteria can get altered. Fatty liver, besides increasing the risk of brain stroke, bones start becoming weak. To prevent this,
it can result in facial hair and increase the risk of PCOS.
Increases the risk of many types of cancers. We can activate internal cleaning of the body.
In case unfortunately unhealthy genes are passed on from parents to children,
you are truly wealthy only when you have all these 3 things.
100 years ago, many deaths occurred due to infectious diseases. Diseases like pneumonia, tuberculosis, diarrhea, and influenza were the top killers. As medical science progressed, this trend started changing. The invention of antibiotics and antivirals, along with improved hygiene, sanitation, and increased awareness, led to a sharp decline in deaths from infectious diseases. And gradually, metabolic diseases took their place. Today, metabolic diseases have emerged as the biggest silent killers. Diseases like diabetes, hypertension, fatty liver, heart diseases, and cancers are the top killers of today.
If you want a healthy life and want to avoid these silent diseases, then Dr. Shiv Kumar Sarin's book, Own Your Body, can be highly useful to you. You will get a lot of information and practical advice in this book, which can prove to be life-changing. In this video, we have covered the main points of this book. Dr. Sarin is a highly respected doctor from India. He was honored with the Padma Bhushan in 2007 for his contributions to the medical field. In his book, he has explained health problems through the real-life experiences of patients. He also provides scientific and evidence-based solutions to those problems. The good thing is that this book has been written in very simple language. It provides crucial information in a story format, which makes it quite engaging. So let's look at key insights from the book along with some additional concepts for better understanding.
First of all, it is very important to understand that looking fit and being healthy are 2 different things. You must have often heard in the news that some fit person suddenly died. It comes as a shocking news. But sometimes there are underlying health issues that we are not aware of. By the time we find out about them, it is already too late. If you are obese, then obviously there are many risks to your health. But it is not necessary that you are unhealthy only if you are overweight. It is not true that you are at risk of many diseases only if you are overweight. And only then do you need to control your diet and exercise, otherwise not. It is not like this at all. No matter how you look from the outside, proper nutrition, routine checkups, and regular exercise are necessary for good health in all circumstances.
It is quite possible that you are slim and trim, look fit, but still have some underlying health issues that you are not aware of, like high cholesterol, high blood sugar, fatty liver, etc. Many times, silent metabolic issues occur in our body that do not even show any symptoms initially. These problems are called silent because they keep damaging our body slowly and we do not even realize it. Symptoms appear quite late, and by then, significant damage has already occurred. Therefore, the focus should not just be on external appearance but on overall health. One should try to achieve a healthy metabolism because metabolic dysfunction can cause many diseases like fatty liver, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, cancer, etc. Let us understand how.
We know that our body needs energy to function. Where do we get this energy from? This energy comes from food. When we consume food, our body breaks it down. Our body converts food into energy through many complex chemical reactions. All these chemical reactions are called metabolism. You must have heard the word metabolism. Often people say things like my metabolism is high or my metabolism is very slow. This metabolism is nothing but a series of chemical reactions through which food is converted into energy in our body. Because of this, we are able to sustain life. Now, if something goes wrong in the process of converting this food into energy, then it is called metabolic dysfunction. This indicates that there is some trouble with metabolism. This can be a serious issue.
Because the body needs energy for every function. If there is any issue with metabolism, then energy production will be affected. The body will not be able to process food efficiently. We will keep consuming food every day, but it will not be processed properly. What will happen then? Substances like glucose and triglycerides, in simple words, sugar and fat, will start building up in bloodstream. A simple blood test can reveal their levels. If these levels are high in the bloodstream and we keep ignoring them for long, it can lead to serious diseases. Hormonal imbalances will start occurring, inflammation will start happening, and if this condition continues long term, many organs can get damaged. That is why metabolic dysfunction is quite dangerous. Just because there are no symptoms in the starting phase, it does not mean that we should ignore metabolic issues.
So how can we find out if there is any issue with our metabolism? Does our body give any warning signs of metabolic ill health? Actually, yes. If you have moles or skin tags on your neck and armpits, or the skin in these areas is dark, thick or velvety, you may have some underlying metabolic issue. Additionally, if the circumference of the neck is more than 35 cm in males and more than 31 cm in females, this can also be a sign of metabolic dysfunction. Similarly, if the waist to hip ratio is more than 0.9 in males and more than 0.8 in females, the risk of having metabolic issues increases. Further, if liver enzymes are elevated in a blood test or albumin levels are low, these are warning signs that there is something wrong in the body. We often completely ignore the risks associated with being overweight and with sleep disorders such as snoring and sleep apnea. We treat them as if they are normal. But actually, these seemingly normal things are warning signs of unhealthy metabolism. Do not ignore these signs. They are indications of silent diseases building up inside us. These diseases can be reversed through careful observation and timely action.
So we learned about metabolism and metabolic dysfunction. Now let us quickly understand metabolic rate. We discussed that our body needs energy for every function. Even when our body is at rest, not doing any heavy work, we still need energy for basic functions such as breathing, blood circulation, functioning of organs such as brain, heart, liver, kidney, etc., for cell growth, repair processes, and even for maintaining body temperature. Additionally, daily activities that require very little effort such as eating, drinking water, and going to the toilet also requires energy. So, the body continues burning calories for these basic functions even in a resting state. If we add all these together, we get the total calories that our body needs when it is in a resting state and not doing any heavy work. This is called the resting metabolic rate. This is the amount of calories required for the basic functions of the body and to sustain life. This is not the same for everyone. It varies from person to person. Age, gender, body size, body composition, and genetics are some of the factors that cause the resting metabolic rate of each individual to differ.
Okay, so we have learned that the body needs a certain amount of calories to function in the resting state. But of course, we won't be resting all the time. Throughout the day, we will do at least some physical activity, such as exercising, playing a sport, traveling somewhere, or doing household work, etc. What I mean to say is that we will do some movement that requires a little effort. So apart from basic life-sustaining functions, calories will also be spent on these additional activities. Now if we add the calories required for these additional physical activities to the resting metabolic rate, we'll get our daily calorie expenditure, meaning the total amount of calories we spend in a day. If we want to maintain our current weight, then obviously we need to consume the same amount of calories that we are spending. When calorie output equals calorie input, our weight will remain the same. These calories are called our maintenance calories. Similarly, if we want to reduce our weight, we need to consume fewer calories than we burn, meaning calorie output should be more than calorie input. To lose 1 kg of weight, we'll have to create a deficit of 7,700 kilocalories in our body. For perspective, if you consume 500 to 600 kilocalories less than your maintenance calories in a day and burn 500-600 kilocalories through exercise, then your weight will reduce by 1 kg in a week. On the other hand, if we want to increase our weight, we need to consume more calories than we burn, meaning calorie output should be less than calorie input. To gain 1 kg of weight, we'll have to create a surplus of 7,700 kilocalories in our body.
Okay, so we have understood the basics of maintaining, increasing, and reducing weight. This background was necessary to understand what we are going to discuss next: the silent diseases caused by metabolic dysfunction. Suppose we keep burning fewer calories and consuming more calories for a long period of time. What will happen in this case? We know that it will lead to weight gain, as the body will store the surplus calories as fat for later use. If we do not stop here and continue consuming surplus calories, our fat cells will expand to hold the extra energy, and we will keep gaining more and more weight. This fat can be stored just below our skin, which is called subcutaneous fat, or it can be stored deep within, surrounding our organs, which is called visceral fat. Where our body deposits fat depends on our genetics, hormones, and metabolism.
The important thing to remember here is that among these two types of fat, visceral fat is more dangerous because it accumulates around our vital organs such as the liver, kidneys, pancreas, and intestines. Due to its proximity to these organs, visceral fat can influence the functioning of these vital organs. How? By releasing hormones and other chemicals that can cause problems like inflammation, insulin resistance, and can put pressure on the organs. For example, if too much fat gets deposited in the liver, it will not be able to process nutrients properly and will not be able to filter toxins. Just like in the case of the liver, excess fat can disrupt the basic functions of many other organs.
Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is a rapidly growing health concern today. This is a silent killer because its symptoms do not appear for a long time. Globally, 1 out of every 3 adults has an unhealthy liver, and most of them do not even know they are carrying an unhealthy liver. Today, the percentage of processed food in our diet is highly increasing due to taste and convenience. Then, due to long sitting periods and reduced physical activity, our bodies are not burning fat efficiently and are becoming less responsive to insulin. Additionally, excessive screen time is affecting our sleep, preventing the body from recovering properly. Because of all these reasons, excess fat is building up in our liver. Excess fat in the liver can cause inflammation and liver damage. Along with this, fatty liver can eventually make the body insulin resistant, leading to damage in multiple organs. Let us understand how.
When there is any injury, infection, or damage in our body, the body senses that trouble and our natural defense system gets activated. In whichever area there is a problem, blood flow increases and immune system cells reach there to fight the problem. Basically, the body is naturally trying to heal itself. This is called inflammation. You must have seen that if you get hurt somewhere, it turns red. What is that? The blood flow there has increased for healing. That is the reason for redness. There is pain too. That is because during the healing process, certain chemicals are released which irritate the nerves. Swelling can also occur when some fluids are released from the blood vessels. All of this is a part of healing process. So inflammation promotes healing. When the problem is under control, the inflammation subsides, blood flow in the area becomes normal, and swelling and redness also reduce. But then why do they say that inflammation is bad? If inflammation persists for the long term, then it is bad. Because if inflammation goes on for too long, then healthy tissues start getting damaged. So chronic inflammation is bad.
Now let us quickly understand insulin resistance. Insulin is a hormone produced by our pancreas. This hormone helps regulate our blood sugar levels. When we eat food, our blood glucose level increases. Then our pancreas gets the signal and releases insulin. Insulin travels in the bloodstream and reaches our cells. Here, insulin acts like a key and unlocks the doors of the cells so that the glucose present in the blood can enter the cells. The cells get energy from this glucose. Since the glucose from the blood enters the cells and is used for energy, the level of glucose in the blood decreases. In this way, insulin helps to regulate our blood sugar levels. In insulin resistance, the response of our cells to insulin decreases, meaning the key isn't working. So, the doors of the cells will not be unlocked and the glucose will not enter the cells from the blood. As a result, the glucose, or in simple words, the sugar level in our bloodstream will be raised. We already know that if the blood sugar level remains high for a long time, it will damage many organs. It will damage the blood vessels, overload the kidneys which may lead to kidney failure, damage the eyes, and will slow down wound healing and body recovery, etc.
Now, excess fat in the liver can lead to insulin resistance. We have learned that when there is insulin resistance, cells become resistant to the effects of insulin and the sugar level in the blood increases. In this case, the pancreas will be signaled to produce more insulin so that the cells can absorb the glucose and the glucose level in the bloodstream is reduced. Thus, the pancreas will have to work overtime. If the pancreas remains overloaded for a long time, it will eventually become exhausted, resulting in insufficient production or ineffective utilization of insulin in the body. When this happens, it is called type 2 diabetes. In this disease, if not managed, blood sugar levels remain chronically high, which can lead to serious health problems. So excess fat in the liver causes insulin resistance, which leads to diabetes. This is why in his book, Dr. Sareens says that diabetes is a liver disease. If people who have diabetes get it checked, fatty liver will be found in approximately 70% of them.
Do you want to know the symptoms of a weak liver? They include loss of appetite, weakness, stomach pain, gas and bloating, and problems like indigestion and acidity. If you face any such problem frequently, find out the condition of your liver by getting an ultrasound test done. Liver damage can be reversed by timely examination and taking corrective actions. Otherwise, fatty liver increases the risk of gallstones, which is treated by the surgical removal of the gallbladder. Fatty liver also increases the risk of diabetes and liver cancer. If there is excess fat in the liver, then lipids in the blood increase, clots increase in the arteries, and there is extra pressure on the heart. You may be surprised to know that fatty liver can negatively impact cognitive functions besides increasing the risk of brain stroke. If the liver does not function properly, there can be hormonal imbalances in the body, inflammation can damage brain cells, and gut bacteria can get altered, all of which can negatively influence brain health. Keep doing further research on all this information that you are getting. Gain as much knowledge as possible and act on it.
It is not good to overstuff ourselves with calories that we can't burn. We can include complex carbohydrates, adequate protein and fiber in our diet, and choose foods with low glycemic index, like millets, which cause blood sugar to rise and fall gradually without a rapid surge in blood sugar. Healthy foods like flax seeds, chia seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, walnuts and kidney beans are amazing. We can add these to our diet as they contain omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, which are very good for our brain and heart and are anti-inflammatory. Colored vegetables like beetroot, carrots, sweet potatoes, brinjal, and red and yellow peppers are very good for our body because they contain antioxidants, which neutralize free radicals in our blood and reduce inflammation. Along with macronutrients, we also need to pay attention to micronutrients in our diet.
Always remember that good health has to be earned with a lot of effort. It would be better if we give more priority to our health over taste. If we want to minimize food-related injuries, we need to minimize eating processed foods and consume natural foods like fruits and vegetables, whole grains, sprouts, salads, nuts, seeds, and lentils. Optimum levels of vitamin B12 and vitamin D must be maintained in the body, and in case of deficiency, supplementation can be considered. However, while taking supplements and medicines, keep in mind that they should be taken only when it's absolutely necessary. It is better not to self-prescribe and to seek advice from an expert to avoid drug-related liver injury. Many times, in order to save on doctors' fees, we end up incurring heavy hospital expenses. Our aim should be to maintain a healthy fat percentage in the body through proper diet and regular exercise. Men should aim for less than 20% body fat and women should aim for less than 28% body fat because obesity increases the risk of many diseases and reduces our life expectancy. Excess body fat increases the risk of dangerous diseases like diabetes, heart diseases, fatty liver, hypertension, thyroid dysfunction, and even cancer. Unhealthy fat causes plaque built-up in our arteries, which narrows them and restricts the blood supply to vital organs. We already know that if the blood supply to the heart gets blocked, it leads to a heart attack. And if the blood supply to the brain gets blocked, it leads to a stroke. Obesity can also disrupt our sleep patterns and cause conditions like snoring and sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is the same disorder due to which Indian singer Bappi Lahiri ji passed away.
Further, the inflammation and metabolic stress caused by obesity also negatively impact our bone health. Obesity can weaken our bones and increase the risk of fractures. Chronic inflammation and metabolic stress in the body can also initiate cancer formation. Additionally, in males, obesity can result in low testosterone levels, poor semen quality, a feminine voice, and a reduction in masculinity. In females, it can result in facial hair and increase the risk of PCOS. Many times we overlook things that can cause great harm later, so it is very important to remain vigilant. Keep the basic things in check, such as keeping body mass index or BMI below 25 and not letting blood pressure increase beyond 120/80.
In the last 30 years, due to sedentary lifestyles and the consumption of highly processed food, obesity worldwide has increased more than 3 times. To combat this, a gradual increase in physical activity and giving up unhealthy eating habits works like a charm. Exercise strengthens bones and muscles and improves metabolism. With age, there is muscle loss and bones start becoming weak. To prevent this, we need to include resistance training along with aerobic exercises in our training regimen regardless of gender. Also, if possible, we can practice water fasting for 1 day in a week. Seeing the benefits of fasting, this healthy practice has been promoted in different cultures. During fasting, our body breaks down unwanted chemicals, burns stored fat for energy, and repairs damaged cells. Today, due to the increase in the purchasing power of people, our meals remain calorie dense and the gap between meals is very short. So, if possible, we can activate internal cleaning of the body by depriving it of nutrients for 1 day in a week.
Another thing that is often overlooked these days is sleep. We do not get sufficient sleep due to reasons like stress, excessive exposure to artificial light, peer pressure, lack of awareness, etc. Due to this, our circadian rhythm gets disrupted. In simple terms, our body clock gets disturbed. This may prove to be extremely harmful in the long term because poor sleep negatively affects our internal processes and body functions, leading to malfunctioning organs and the occurrence of various diseases. For good recovery of the body, both the quantity and quality of sleep matter. 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep is recommended, preferably from 9 to 10 pm to 5 to 6 am. We haven't been able to follow it ourselves yet. It is a work in progress. But since this is a necessary recommendation, we wanted to inform you.
To adopt a healthy lifestyle, we must ensure that we stay in the company of people who take health seriously. Stay away from unscientific and unhealthy practices, and when it comes to health, make sure to verify and cross-check before implementing anything. Learn to differentiate between needs and wants, and between requirements and desires. Save yourself from overconsumption. Unhealthy food gives us immediate pleasure, but it also damages our health. Exchanging health for taste is quite an expensive trade. That's why it's very important to know the hidden health costs of our decisions. Our health is our own responsibility. I don't even need to tell you the importance of staying away from unhealthy habits like smoking and drinking. We already know that smoking damages organs like the lungs, heart, and brain, weakens the immune system, and increases the risk of many types of cancers. Alcohol also damages organs like the liver, heart, stomach, and brain, weakens the immune system, and increases the risk of many types of cancers.
Another dangerous thing is that people who consume alcohol will not only suffer health damage themselves, but will also pass on their alcohol addiction and liver disease genes to future generations. So before adopting such dangerous habits, you should think about your health as well as the health of the next generation. Dr. Sareen advises in his book that if you or your partner have a metabolic dysfunction, do not reproduce without rectifying it, so that your children do not inherit unhealthy genes from you. In case, unfortunately, unhealthy genes are passed on from parents to children, instead of blaming the bad genes, it would be better to focus on the things which are in our hands, like good lifestyle choices. What to eat, when to eat, how much to eat, exercise, sleep, hydration, stress management, etc. If these things are taken care of sincerely, then the adverse effects of unhealthy genes can be greatly reduced and a healthy life can be achieved. Remember that a healthy lifestyle can significantly mitigate the ill effects of bad genes. At the same time, an unhealthy lifestyle can nullify the benefits of good genes. Therefore, a healthy lifestyle is key. Along with this, awareness is also necessary. Track unhealthy metabolic traits in your family and be extra cautious if you are genetically predisposed to any disease. Prevention is better than cure. Corrective measures taken at the right time can prove to be quite beneficial.
Keep in mind that our time is our most precious resource. We will never own anything more expensive than this. The core intention behind all the hard work that we put in is to gain more time and more comfort in life. So whatever we own or want to own is to fulfill the ultimate goal of leading a joyful life. And for that, we need good physical and mental health, wisdom, and money. Before ending the video, let me share an equation with you. Wealth is equal to wisdom plus health plus money. You are truly wealthy only when you have all these three things. With wisdom, you will be able to use knowledge effectively, make better decisions, find out the right purpose, build strong relationships, and live a meaningful life. With health, you will be able to enjoy life to its full potential. And with money, you will get financial security and comfort. The right balance of all these three makes life fulfilling. So we need to ensure that while focusing on just one aspect, money, the other two aspects, wisdom and health, don't get neglected. That's all for this session. We wish you a fulfilling life ahead. And thank you for watching.